Good day, everyone. So, in this lesson, we are going to talk about the human reproduction. In human reproduction, sexes have reproductive organs called genitals or genitalia, designed for purpose of intercourse and conception.
Female reproductive system is made up of the internal and external sex organs that function in the reproduction of new offspring. In humans, the female reproductive system is mature at birth and develops at maturity at puberty to be able to produce gametes and to carry a fetus to full term. Female reproductive organs are for intercourse, reproduction, urination, pregnancy, and childbirth. So, the internal genitalia is the structures within the true pelvis, including the vagina, cervix, uterus, fallopian tubes, ovaries, the latter being the focus of this article. So fimbriae are finger-like projections on the end of your fallopian tubes, closest to your ovaries. Ovaries, which produce and release eggs, sperm, can travel up the tract and egg down the tract. Fallopian tubes where sperm can fertilize an egg after traveling through the cervix and uterus. The urinary bladder is a temporary storage reservoir for urine. The size and shape of the urinary bladder varies with the amount of urine it contains and with the pressure it receives from surrounding organs. The pubic symphysis is a joint sandwiched between your left pelvic bone and your right pelvic bones. Clitoris is a pleasure center of your reproductive anatomy. Many people think of the clitoris as a tiny knob of flesh located at the top of the genitals, but this is just the part of the clitoris you can see. The urethra, it is the tube through which urine leaves the body. It empties urine from the bladder. Vagina, a part of the birth canal where sperm are deposited and from which a body can emerge. While cervix is the lower part of the uterus where sperm enter and which opens when a pregnant woman is ready to give birth. Rectum, the last several inches of the large intestine closest to the anus. Uterus, where an embryo can develop into a fetus. And lastly, the suspensory ligaments attach each ovary to the pelvic sidewall. So let's proceed to ovaries. One of the pair of a female glands in which the egg form and the female hormones estrogen and progesterone are made. These hormones play an important role in female traits such as breast development, body shape, and body hair. So as you can see, this is a front view of the ovary and these are its parts. So fimbriae are finger-like projections in the ends of your fallopian tubes closest to your ovaries. Each month, your fimbriae catch the egg that one of your ovaries releases during ovulation. Your fimbriae then sweep the egg into the fallopian tube where the egg can be fertilized. The fallopian tube, either of a part of tubes along which eggs travel from the ovaries to the uterus. The cervix is the lower, narrow end of the uterus that forms a canal between the uterus and the vagina. The endometrium is a layer of tissue that lines the uterus. So the uterus has a muscular outer layer called the myometrium and an inner lining called the endometrium. So this is the thick middle muscle layer of the corpus or fundus. It expands during pregnancy to hold the growing baby. It contracts during labor to push the baby out. So that is the purpose of the muscular wall. So there are two main functions of ovaries. The first one is to store and release the ova or female egg cell. The second function is the product female sex hormones, estrogen and progesterone. So the largest cell in the female body is the female reproductive cell. The female baby is born with all the ova she will ever have. It's about 200,000 in each ovary. About 400 to 500 ova mature and are released over a lifetime. To proceed to the estrogen, estrogen is responsible for the secondary sex characteristics and the sex drive in females. It spurs the onset of puberty and is responsible for ovulation. Estrogen plays an important role in both for men and women. For women, it contributes to reproduce and breast health among other functions.
Progesterone. The main function of progesterone is to prepare the endometrium for a fertilized egg to implant and grow. So this endometrium, it is the lining of your uterus. So if a pregnancy doesn't occur, the endometrium sheath during your menstrual period, if conception occurs, progesterone increases to support the pregnancy. Next is ovulation. Ovulation is a physiologic process defined by the rupture and release of the dominant follicle from the ovary into the fallopian tube, where it has the potential to become fertilized. So the main purpose of this ovulation, it is the process in which a mature egg is released from the ovary. So after it's released, the egg moves down the fallopian tube and stays there for 12 to 24 hours where it can be fertilized. So the next is the fallopian tube. Fallopian tubes are bilateral conduits between the ovaries and the uterus in the female pelvis. They function as channels for oocyte transport and fertilization.
Next is cervix, the neck or opening of the uterus. A normal healthy cervix is the strongest muscle in the body. It dips down about half an inch into the vagina. It is normally plagued by mucus. It stays tightly closed during pregnancy but thins and opens for the delivery of the baby. Vagina is the female organ used for intercourse. It is an empty passageway leading from the vaginal opening to the uterus. It is only 3 to 4 inches long but will lengthen during arousal. The vaginal walls are made of many small folds of membrane that stretch greatly to accommodate a baby during birth. The vaginal wall also secretes a fluid that helps to make intercourse easier. Urethra, the opening to the bladder. It is a tube through which urine leaves the body. Female at birth has much shorter urethra than the male. It runs from the bladder to open in front of your vagina. Clitoris is a small pea-shaped bump at the front of the labia. It contains a small amount of erectile tissue. The clitoris increases sexual pleasure. It is the pleasure center of the reproductive anatomy. Menstruation is the monthly shedding of the lining of your uterus. Menstruation is also known by the terms menses, menstrual period, menstrual cycle or period, menstrual blood, which is partly blood and partly tissues from the inside of your uterus, flows from your uterus through your cervix and out of your body through your vagina. Here is a woman's cycle. In day 1, it is where her menstruation begins or the bleeding begins. In day 5, it is where the menstruation usually ended. In day 14, ovum has matured and burst out of the ovary. In day 15, after 24 hours, the egg is done. In days 26, in the absence of fertilization, estrogen or progesterone levels drop and the endometrium lining breathes down. Day 28, menstruation begins again. The typical cycle lasts between 24 and 38 days.
Now we are bound to the male reproductive system. The male reproductive system consists of organs that are used for intercourse, reproduction, and urination. These organs are interconnected with each other, meaning to say that if one organ or part of the system is not functioning well, the other will be affected. And as you can see in your screen right now, the presentation that shows the male anatomy. This shows the illustration of the male reproductive system, including its part and detailed information or label of its parts, where we can locate the organs or the parts under this system. Now the first one is the scrotum. It is a sac-like pouch located behind the penis that holds each testis and helps regulate temperature for sperm production. Second is testicles or testes. The two testes are small organs that lie in the scrotum and produce sperm and the male hormone testosterone. The testicles are the male sex gland. The testicles are outside the body because the male sperm that is manufactured in the testes need cooler than body temperature for normal growth and development. They're the counterpart to the female ovary. Let us always remember as well that loss of one does not impair the function of the other. And lastly, 4 to 5 billion sperm cells are produced each month. Next is testosterone. It is the male reproductive hormone made by the testicles which causes the changes of puberty. This hormone causes secondary sex characteristics, production of sperm, and sexual urge. It is produced in the testicles and enters the bloodstream at a fairly constant rate. And now the sperm. I know you guys are familiar because we came from sperm. We are the winner out of billions or millions of sperm, right? So it should be a good sperm. Now, sperm is the microscopic cells produced by the male's testicles which can fertilize the female's ovum. They are tiny living cells 100 times smaller than a pencil dot, the smallest cell in a man's body. Enough sperm would fit on the head of the pin to repopulate the earth if each sperm fertilized an egg. It is destroyed by warm body temperature or acidic environment. It can survive in a woman's body for 5 to 8 days. And any sperm not ejaculated are passed in the urine. So those are some of the parts under the male reproductive system. But you don't have to worry, guys, because the next presenter will discuss more of these organs or parts of the system.
Epididymis. Epididymis is a structure that forms a mass over the back and upper part of each testis. And also, sperm are stored there for as long as 6 weeks while they ripen to maturity. Cowper's gland. Two small pea-sized glands located beneath the prostate gland on both sides of the base of the penis. They secrete a clear, sticky fluid that helps to neutralize the acidity of the urethra. Vas deferens. Vas deferens is two long, thin tubes that serve as a passageway for sperm and place for sperm storage. And also, the construction of the vas deferens along with the action of the cilia help transport the sperm through the vas deferens. Seminal vesicles. Two small glands that secrete a fluid that nourishes and enables the sperm to move. Prostate gland. Surround the urethra beneath the bladder. The gland secretes an alkaline fluid that neutralizes the acid found in the male urethra and the female reproductive tract. Without the action of the secretions of the prostate gland, many sperm would die and fertilization of an ovum would be impossible.
Another part of male reproduction system is urethra. Urethra is a dual-purpose tube that both semen and urine pass through to leave the body. Semen and urine never mix. Special muscles or sphincters surround the urethra. During urination, one sphincter will relax so that the pressure from the bladder will push urine out from the body. During ejaculation, another sphincter will relax so that semen can flow through the urethra to the outside of the body. Penis, the male organ for sexual intercourse, reproduction, and urination. The reproductive purpose of the penis is to deposit semen in the vagina during sexual intercourse. The head of the penis or glans contains many nerve endings. At birth, the glans is covered by a loosely fitting skin called the foreskin. When the penis is erect, it is 5 to 7 inches long, and erection occurs when the sponge-like chambers in the penis will fill with blood. The next one is semen, a combination of fluid that is produced in the seminal vesicles, prostate gland, and Cowper's gland. This fluid nourishes and helps sperm move through the urethra. Next is ejaculation, the passage of sperm from the penis, a result of a series of muscular contractions. During the first stage of male puberty, the scrotum and testes grow larger. Next, the penis becomes longer and the seminal vesicles in prostate gland grow. Puberty may begin as early as age 9 and continue until age 16. In this timeline, it explains the stage of male puberty. That at the age of 9 to 12, secondary sex characteristics appear. At the age of 11 to 14, menstrual cycle begins. Late 20 to 30s, peak sexual urges. Age 45 to 55, menopause. Cycle stops, but sex urge continues. So that's the end of this lesson that is all about the human reproduction that discuss about the internal female anatomy and male anatomy and its parts. I hope you learned something in this presentation. Thank you, God bless, and mabuhay everyone.